Okay, so this is the image that you have right now, and this is just on its own layer. And just going to dim this down a bit and work on a layer over top of this. Okay, so that'll get you set up. And the idea is to then use the ruler guide, this symmetrical piece right there, and try to use as much of the program there to help you illustrate this. So if I take with the default, just the pen tool for example, and try to curve this around. And right now I'm kind of looking through this drawing, so I'm looking through the bumper, through this section, just using the Shift key to build that part up. And I'm going to use some of the graphics in order to highlight this. So this part, for example, I have selected. I go in and hit the reflect tool and just hit return. Click right on there, option, and copy that across. So now I have that piece. Shift key these with the pathfinder and just merge that piece together. So now it just acts as one piece. And I can get in the habit of hiding these selections, Command 3, just so I can see it as I go. And then just take a look at some of the simple ideas. Here, for example, is the part for the headlight. Command X to switch it around just so I can see it. And deselect, and just use the center, Option Shift to build that out. And then Shift key for the highlight. Now again, I'm using the eyedropper just to click on it. Fills it with that color, but I can also just fill it with the selection and use the eyedropper to grab that color. So I'm just kind of quickly going through it to make it build that selection up. So here's this piece, okay, and making it smaller with the reflect tool. Use the keystrokes or just click on it, option, and it sends it over there. Hit copy, and then hit return to reflect it again. Don't change anything, and just let it flip itself back over. So now I have the two sections built up. With something like the bumper, just option and shift key this out, move it up a little bit, it's still in the middle, and then take the direct selection tool and curve those options right there. And if it needs to be extended or made larger, it's centered on this piece. That makes it just a little bit easier. And here we have with the parts for the wheel, direct selection, just change that, make that black, and just going to flip it. So just option right on the guideline there and copy that over. So now I have these pieces built up. And again, Command 3 will hide it. So if I need to make any pieces here, for example, there's the eyedropper for this, and letter A just to image that up a little bit. Take the selection tool, and option, and click on there and copy it. So it is centered, even though the drawing might be just slightly off as far as that goes. So you can always compensate for that later. Take the text tool and build it up like that. And so then using the character palette, so everything here is centered, and can change the font up here. Bold right there, and I'll just center that. Keep it in proportion, just so it has a little bit of connotation. So as I grab these pieces, I'm just going to group them together here. That way I can select all of these if I need to, and center them, but I'll just keep them off there for starters. Then something like this grill, I can just do parts of it. I'm going to set it straight across, arch it a little bit, and hold the shift key down, and that gives me the selection I'm looking for. And I can make this understroke a little bit thicker. So it makes that piece. Let's see if I got something happening here. Let's see what happens here. So curve that down a bit. So that becomes there. And here I'm just going to reflect the stroke. If I can find the mouse there, Option and click, copy that. And now when I select these two, I just hit Command J and it joins them together as one shape for that. And that'll give me a little bit of a thickness to it for that. And I can just make it just a little bit larger if I want to. Option Shift. And you can see that happening. So let's see. Combining that. So now I can actually build that from the selection. So I could take these rectangle pieces for the grill, and set it up here so it's going to blend. I'm just going to shift key these two to make a blend. Option Blend Make, and then Option Blend Options for this part, and take steps in here and just put in two. It'll give me that selection. And this one you're just going to expand, and that'll give you that shape. So now I have this piece. I'll give it a color so you can see it. And this part. So this is going to be a fill. I'm just going to go to Object Path and offset it. And hit Preview. And I'm going to go minus, like this. A little bit bigger. Like so. And bring this to the front. Give that a different color. So the green and the yellow, and then just use the Pathfinder and minus. Here it is from minus the front from the back. We'll do that. Here you have minus the back from there, and it gives you this grill selection in that way. So we'll build that part up. So just ungroup this. I have the green, so you're trying to use these pieces. Let's see, and you also have the intersect, so I'll just show you that one. Let's see. Let's see if this is going to work. Object. That gives me the grill itself. Let's take off the stroke. So there you have that part. So you have most of the car done. If I hit Show All, it gives me most of that part. Last part is just trying to do the grill and the seats on the dice. So I will try to build that part up. Just kind of curve this out a little bit. Kind of going right in the middle of this part. Like so. And just taking the reflect on this one. Hit copy. And just select these and join them together. And under the stroke palette, quicker. Just go to Object Path, outline the stroke. It's just a matter of creating these graphics here. Pathfinder, making that one piece. But this also has the mirror on it, so I can just select it. Option and click in the middle. Just copy it over there. This Pathfinder right here is just going to union them to one piece. Copy this car. Paste it in place on top of it. I'm just going to select this with the Pathfinder and subtract it. So now this is on its own piece. With these seats, just going to make one piece right here. And same with this right here. And same with this part up here. So it's trying to use all the shape tools to help you design this. And here you can take this, copy this, edit, paste in place. Give it a different color. So that's a separate part. In fact, we'll take that coloring first, then do the option, click, copy it over, so now you have the seats, just hide them. And now taking the ellipse tool, default for that, using the stroke palette, and again using object. Outline the stroke. Select these and use the shape builder. That's good. And the last part is doing these dice. So I'm just trying to take this one here. Elliptical shape. Let's see if I can't. Let's see. That's good. So these are the parts that you're going to have spinning around here. And just do a lining this way. Put that together. Put this together. So now you have all these pieces show all.